You know, Mother, I think it's colder in here than it is outside.
I was gonna say the same thing, Elijah.
Maybe we'd better open the door and let in some warm air.
You better not. The snow blew all over the place. See, there's some logs there, and we'll start a fire.
Yeah. I think my feet are froze. I really can't feel them when I walk.
I don't wonder after that climb up the mountain. Lord, I'll never forget that night. I'm about perished. Any logs there?
Yep, plenty of them. I got this thing all ready anyway. I was gonna build a fire when I was up here last week. I haven't blazed in a minute if I can find them darn matches.
You better light a lamp first so you can see what you're doing.
That's a good idea.
$11
Yep, that's what it is. 11 o'clock. Wait, that train's been in over 20 minutes already, but I suppose it's the storm that delays him. Ain't over a 10-minute walk up the mountain from the depot.
Maybe the train's late on account of the storm.
No, I heard the signal crossing at Askew Junction a half hour ago. That fella will be here before we know it. Light the other lamp, will you, Mother, while I get at this fire?
Maybe we should have met him at the depot.
No, we shouldn't have done nothing of the kind. Telegram just had to come here, open up the place and have it ready for him. Them's the instructions, and them's the only things I follow. His instructions.
Well, what do you suppose anybody wants to be doing in a summer hotel on top of a mountain in the dead of winter?
Mother, you know I can't figure out nothing. If I could, I would have been a multimillionaire years ago instead of an old fool caretaker. Dust up a bit there, will you, Mother? Make the place look a little more respectable. She'll be going all right in a minute now.
What's his name again?
Meiji, I think the telegram says.
McGee?
Wait, I'll make sure.
Give it to me. I want to have a look myself. The whole thing's very mysterious to me.
Of course it's mysterious, but it's none of our business. Mr. Bentley's the owner of Baldpate Inn, and if Mr. Bentley wants to permit some darn fool to come to this place to be froze to death by stale air and to be frightened to death by spooks, it's his concern and not ours.
My friend, William Hallowell McGee, will arrive in Asquith Falls tonight on the 10:40. He will occupy Baldpate Inn, so be prepared to receive him there and turn the key over to him and do whatever you can to make him comfortable. He has very important work to do and has chosen Baldpate for his workshop. Follow instructions. Ask no questions. Hal Bentley.
Sounds like them black hand notes they sent to rich men, don't it?
I can't understand it for the life of me.
Mother!
Yes?
Maybe he's committed some crime and is coming here to hide.
Do you think so, Elijah?
I don't know. I say maybe.
Well, if that's so, why should Mr. Bentley be interested in such a man?
I've never thought of that. But whatever it is, it's none of our concern. And we mustn't mix in other people's affairs.
Elijah!
What?
Do you think I'd better fix up one of them rooms?
Sure, he'll have a place to sleep. Here, this opens the linen closet. You better fix up that first room to the left. That's the one Mr. Bentley always takes when he comes. It's pretty darn mysterious, all right? I'll be jiggered if I can figure it out. Mother! Mother!
Did you call me, Elijah?
Hush, don't talk so loud.
What's the matter? Good Lord, what's that?
It's him. He's here.
Who?
The man.
Where?
At the door.
Why don't you open it?
Think I better?
Well, isn't that what the telegram said?
Yes, but...
Go on and do as you're told.
Okay. Yes, just a minute.
The poor thing's half froze.
What's the matter, young fellow? Are you cold?
Am I cold? I'm pretty rocky, but I still gotta laugh at that one.
Better give him a drink of whiskey.
Yes, guess so. Here, young fellow, try a little of this.
Thank you.
Do you suppose it's him?
How do I know?
Well, ask him and find out.
Yeah, thanks.
You can hold on to that. You might need it later on.
Thanks again.
You're Mr. McGee, aren't you?
Right, what's left of me is McGee. You expected me, of course.
Yes, we got Mr. Bentley's telegram, all right. My name's Quimby,
So I surmised.
and this is my wife, Mrs. Quimby.
I expected as much. Delighted, Mrs. Quimby.
Glad to meet you, Mr. McGee.
You'll pardon me for not shaking your hand, but really I'm terribly cold.
That's all right. You just sit there and get head up. We've been living here in the mountains so long, we don't mind the cold as much as strangers do. Even we felt it tonight, didn't we, Elijah?
Yes, Mother. Today was an uncommon cold night.
The little trip up the mountain from the railroad station taught me to firmly believe everything Jack London ever wrote about, and everything old Dr. Cook ever lied about. Huh, so this is Baldpate, eh? Well, well, well.
Don't he talk funny?
Yeah, acts funny too. Something's the matter with him. Sure.
Oh, you said you got the telegram saying I'd be here.
Yes, it only came about an hour ago, so we really didn't have much time to prepare.
I didn't decide to come here until 4 o'clock this afternoon.
We were scared most to death when we received the telegram in the middle of the night.
Well, I'm terribly sorry to have taken you out on a night like this, but it was altogether necessary in order that I accomplish what I've set out to do. Let me see. Oh, the rooms are equipped with fireplaces, I believe?
Yes, I'm just fixing up one of the rooms right now. I have it all ready for you inside of 5 minutes.
I wish you would. Yes, this would be too big a barn to work in. I'll no doubt be more comfortable in there.
He says he's going to work. I wonder what he means.
Pumpin, try to find out. Give me the matches.
Yeah, here they are.
This is the hotel office, I presume.
That's right.
Well, if this isn't John H. Seclusion himself.
Good Lord!
Where did those lights come from?
No need to be alarmed, Mrs. Quimby. I think I can explain. Mr. Bentley's no doubt had the power turned back on. He knew I need some light for this kind of work. Say, I bet you're wondering what the devil I'm doing here.
That's just what I was wondering, young fellow.
Well, I'll try to explain, though I'm not fully sure you'll understand. Sit down, Mr. Quimby. Go ahead, sit down. Now, I take it you're not the sort of man who follows closely the light and frivolous literature of the day.
How's that?
I say you don't read the kind of books they sell by the pound at the department stores.
I don't.
I write those books.
The dickens you do?
Wild, thrilling tales for the tired businessman's tired wife. Shots in the night, chases after fortunes, Cupid busy with his arrow all over the place. It's good fun. I like to do it. And there's money in it, too.
You don't mean to tell me.
Oh, yes, considerable. Of course, the critics say I'm a cheap, melodramatic ranter. They say my thinking process is a scream. Perhaps they're right.
Perhaps.
I've come to Baldpate to think, to get away from the melodrama, if possible. To write a novel so fine and literary that Henry Cabot Lodge himself will come to me with tears in his eyes and ask me to join him in his group of self-made immortals. And I'm going to do this all right here in this inn, laid upon this very mountain, looking down upon this very earth, just as Jove looked down from Olympus. What do you think of that?
Maybe it's all for the best.
Of late, I've been running short of material. I've needed inspiration. A title gave me that, given by your employer and my dear friend, Mr. Hal Bentley, the lonesomest spot on earth. I asked, what is the lonesomest spot on earth? Well, a summer as or in winter, he answered. He told me of Baldpate, dared me to come, and here I am.
You mean you're going to write a book?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm here to get atmosphere.
You'll get plenty of that, all right. When are you going to start in?
Just as soon as I absorb my surroundings, take a few mental notes. You see, I do most of my work in the dead of night. I find I work more readily from midnight on. But I must have absolute solitude. The crackle of the fire, the roaring of the wind, and the ticking of my watch will alone bear me company at Baldpate. What do you think of that?
I think that's great. Would you like me to call Mrs. Quimby?
Yes, I believe she'd like an explanation. I have an explanation right here in my hand.
Yes. Mother! Mother!
Yes, I'm all through. Everything's ready up here. You better come up here, mister, and see if it satisfies you before we go.
Oh no, I'll take your word that everything's all right.
Come on down here, Mother. Mr. McGee wants to read something to you.
Is that so? I started the fire, so I guess the room will be comfortable enough for you by the time you get ready for bed.
Well, sit down, Mother.
What?
Go on, see? I'm sitting. Mr. McGee wants to tell us why he's here.
Is that so? Lord, I'd love to know.
I've just explained to your husband that I'm an author. I write popular novels. I'm here to novelize Baldpate. And I'm here on a bet. I'm here to complete this task within 24 hours, starting midnight tonight.
Understand, Mother? He's gonna write a book with words.
Write a book in 24 hours?
That's a bet that's been made between Mr. Bentley and myself. He said it couldn't be done. I said it could. $5,000 worth of sporting blood, and he reached for his fountain pen and checkbook. I covered the bet, and the checks were placed at the 44th Street Club. He was to choose the godforsaken place. He succeeded. So, I ran to my apartment, grabbed my slippers, a couple dozen sandwiches, packed some manuscript paper, and of course, my faithful typewriter. Just got the train, and here I am, ready to win or lose the wager, as the case may be.
What do you think of that, Mother?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, here's the copy of agreement right here, in which you'll notice your name is mentioned, Mr. Quimby. Hold on. Huh. You are to leave New York City on the 4:45 for Asquith Falls, arriving at 10:40, and go directly to Baldpate Inn, atop of the Baldpate Mountain, where you will be met by my caretaker, Mr. Elijah Quimby, who, after making you comfortable, will turn over to you the key to the inn, the only one in existence. Is that true?
It's the only key I know of.
That's the only key. I can swear to it.
Good. This will ensure you against interruption and give you the solitude necessary for concentration. You are to begin work starting at 12 o'clock Tuesday night and turn over to Mr. Elijah Quimby the completed manuscript of a 10,000-word story of Baldpate no later than 12 o'clock Wednesday night. What do you think of that?
You're to turn it over to me.
Precisely.
What do you think of that, Mother?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, you know Mr. Bentley's handwriting. See for yourself.
It's his handwriting, isn't it, Mother?
Looks like it, but
But what?
the whole thing don't sound right to me.
Me neither. You better watch this cuss.
I think so too. Good Lord!
Did you hear that?
You mean the telephone?
Spooks!
That thing's been out of commission all winter.
Let's get out of here, Lige!
I think I can explain, Mrs. Quimby. Mr. Bentley's no doubt the service renewed. He probably wants to know if I've arrived. Just a moment. Hello? Hello, Hal. Yes, just in time. Half frozen. Thank you. Oh, yes, he's here. Oh, Mrs. Quimby, too. Oh, yes, we understand each other just fine. Still feel that way about it, eh? Well, your opinion's gonna cost you $5,000, old man. Oh, you want to speak to him? All right, just a moment. He wants to speak to you, Mr. Quimby.
Is it Mr. Bentley?
Yes. Here you are.
Hello? Well, hello, Mr. Bentley. Yes, sir. Yes. At 12 o'clock. Yes, I'll be right here waiting. Yes, I'll ask. Is there anything you want to say?
Oh, no, just send him my regards and tell him I'm spending his money already.
He says there's nothing else, sir. Yes, sir. I'm fine. We're both fine. Thank you. Goodbye, sir. He wants me to be here at 12 o'clock tomorrow night to talk to him on the telephone again.
And it's sad news you impart to him, Mr. Quimby. I'm going to win this bet. You know, this whole thing wouldn't make a bad story itself. I'm seriously considering using it for the ground plot. Oh, this leads to where?
That's the dining room. Leads right through the kitchen. The door to the left goes to the cellar.
I see. Have you the exact time, Mr. Quimby?
Yes. Mine says 11:30.
30 minutes to write a character or two for a start.
Shall I put these in your room?
Oh, no, you needn't bother.
Oh no, it's no bother at all. I'm only too glad to do anything for any friend of Mr. Bentley.
Now, you're sure I won't be disturbed during my work?
Who's going to disturb you here? No one comes within a mile of this place up until the 1st of April, except myself. And I only come about once a week in this type of weather.
Now, you're sure none of Mr. Bentley's Asquin friends, upon hearing of the wager, would take it upon themselves to come up here and interrupt my writing?
No one knows you're here except me and the missus, and we're not going to tell anybody.
I have your word for that?
Never broke a word in my life. But guess that's why I'm a poor man. Well, the only other time of anybody breaking in here during the winter was during the reform wave at Rutan. Some reformers got after a lot of crooked politicians, broke in here at the middle of the night, and took a lot of graft money in the safe over here.
You mean to tell me reformers hid money in this safe?
No, the politicians. The reformers never have any money.
I see.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, nothing. You were about to tell me about the hidden graft?
Yeah, there's really not much to tell. Some fellas up and gave him away. The police come here the next morning, found it here, but nobody claimed it, so of course they never got the gang. They threw a lot of fellas out of office, I believe, but I really didn't read much about it. You needn't be afraid. That was over 4 years ago. You won't be disturbed here.
Grafting politicians, hidden money, reformers? Sounds like a good seller.
Is there anything more we can do for you, Mr. McGee?
Oh, no, nothing I can think of. Oh, wait a minute. You forgot something, Mr. Quimby.
Forgot what?
The key?
Oh yeah, yes, the key. Here it is.
Now, you're sure this is the only key in existence?
Yes, sir, I'm sure.
Good.
What are you gonna do? Lock yourself in?
Precisely.
I don't mind staying here and keeping watch for you if you want.
Oh, no. I prefer to be alone.
I'd rather it be you than me. Lord, I should think you'd be afraid of ghosts.
Mother, I've told you 20 times, there ain't no such thing as ghosts.
Well, they've been seen here just the same.
Ghosts?
Don't mind her, Mr. McGee. There's an old fella up in the mountains by the name of Peters. He's a hermit.
A hermit?
Yes, just one of them fellas that's been disappointed in love. His wife ran off with a traveling man, came here about 10 years ago. Lives a mile and a half north of here, in a little shack, called the Hermit's Cave. All the summer boarders buy picture postcards from him. Figure he's the one that's been scaring people down at the valley, with a lantern in one hand, with a white sheet wrapped around him.
But no one ever proved it was him.
Well, who else could it be, Mother? There ain't no such thing as ghosts. Is there, Mr. McGee?
I certainly hope not. Hermits. Ghosts. Splendid.
Well, come along, Mother. I guess maybe Mr. McGee's anxious to get to work.
Well, good night, sir. And remember, 12 o'clock sharp for Mr. Bentley's phone call tomorrow.
I'll say good night. And good luck.
Thank you.
And I'm coming to see if you're still alive.
Good night. I don't envy your trip down the mountain on a cold, stormy night like this.
Good night, Mr. McGee.
Good night, Mrs. Quimby. And keep a sharp eye out for ghosts and hermits.
Lord, say that, please!
The only one, eh? We'll see about that.